Okay, so we're now going live. So
Sure.
don't save any under regrets. That's all I'm gonna say.
It's like the Big Brother thing when Big Brother would go live.
Yeah,
Now
You
live.
are live.
We'll
Please
be
do not
back.
swear.
yeah, yeah. We are now officially live here on YouTube. So welcome along to the show. We've got the band on. Say it again. Please welcome Matt and Callum from the band. Welcome to both of you. Hope you're doing both well here this evening. What a life you guys have been living so far in 2025.
Oh, mate, we haven't stopped to breathe yet. Good Lord.
Well, you guys are very busy. You're appearing everywhere. You're creating constant content on your social medias. I do like how you create different content for TikTok to Instagram. Is that on purpose, or was that just by mistake?
It's a mixture, to be honest. Sometimes it's on purpose, down to kind of. We used to have a bit of a thing about it, about like TikTok, we can get away with being a bit more silly and just kind of, and we'd plan out Instagram more. And then recently it's been a bit more purposeful. There's some bits that we feel live better on TikTok than they would on Instagram, and we can kind of throw stuff together a bit faster. But most of like the main stuff, the stuff that's focused around the songs, that's normally across both. But yeah, we like to play around.
Yeah, it's fun to keep it it's fun to mix it up as well. Because I think because of how TikTok is algorithmically, and I know Instagram's kind of gone down the same route, but like we've got kind of different crowds looking at us on from both platforms.
Yeah.
So it is quite fun that let's say we post 10 things on TikTok, it means that the people watching that, if they find our Instagram, they can jump over to Instagram and see completely different content that they've not seen before on TikTok. So yeah, it's nice just to keep it fresh. But yeah, no, we're having a good time. We're adapting to the content era, which we're now 5 years deep into. I mean, we're a bit late to the party, but there we go.
Well, I think you guys are doing very well. I think you're growing on both platforms incredibly well. I know you're not posted on Facebook since, I believe, February. Could be wrong, but when I last saw it, it was on February. So I don't know if you just gave up on Facebook for the time being, or if you plan to return to Facebook, but I would spin up the Mac.
Do you know what that is? I think that's because I deleted my personal Facebook. And I think there was some link somewhere that was sending our Instagrams to our Say It Again account on Facebook through my personal Instagram. I think by deleting my Facebook, it's just kind of like throwing everything into an abyss that doesn't exist anymore. So sorry, Facebook.
Yeah, no problem. These are questions that fans will probably want to know about. So I thought let's just ask them. Why not here on
Yeah.
this live discussion, which we like to do? And it's just great. And talk to me about the new single, Wide Open. I've been teasing it on social media on my channels to get some interest from my followers to check you guys out who probably never heard of you guys, and it's great to give you guys more of a platform. So was it easy to come up with the name for the title of the song, or was it difficult then actually how it came out?
I think title wise, I mean, I guess so. Yeah. I mean, the records that we're releasing at the moment and kind of the stuff that we're going to be releasing for the next few months, we wrote all of it with our good mate Ben Kavanagh, and we just work really well together when we're top lining stuff, all three of us. And yeah, I mean, like most kind of pop songs, we just pull the title from the chorus. So title wise, it was yeah, it kind of came pretty quickly as soon as that hook landed from a top line point of view.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think our writing style changes like a lot based on the song. So when it comes down to like, I think Wide Open was one where we did it all at the same time. So we were doing the instrumental as we were doing the top line. It all kind of came together really quickly in like 5 or 6 hours from nothing to kind of done. And sometimes we'll have a full instrumental that we love and we'll have melodies, and then we just need to kind of put it all together from there, and it's a slower process. And sometimes we'll literally have like a title idea, and that would be a great title, and we'll figure out what the meaning is around that. So they all come from different places. But yeah, Wide Open was a all in one day, 6 hours done.
Wow.
It's one of those
Yeah.
really lucky days where it turned into something that we loved, and it all kind of came together, which was nice.
Crikey, 6 hours. that's a record, but because I know there's a lot of people go on this show. You take them, a few days or even a couple
Yeah,
of weeks, but you guys are smashing it out there. So congratulations on that, and it's a
yeah.
great song. I love it, and
Thanks,
I
man.
know you guys have been posting a lot of snippets from that song on your social media in different locations, and it's just great, and it's really getting the message across to your fans, definitely.
Thanks, man. Yeah, it's been a bit non-stop recently. We took our time getting kind of the first batch of songs together, like what we really wanted to show as like the first look at Say It Again. And we finished kind of the batch of songs that we're currently releasing. We finished probably over a year ago now. So we kind of sat on it all for a while until the time was right. And
Yeah.
now, yeah, it's pretty much non-stop from now, which has been really nice. It's just yeah, finally get them out and finally kind of enjoy that side of it rather than
Yeah.
just having them live on our phones.
And
So
then
go ahead.
no, I was gonna say, and then re-entering the cycle as well because we're just constantly writing and
Yeah.
even finishing songs that aren't even on the record we're about to release. So we're back in that cycle of just looking at our phones and seeing so much unreleased music that we're just like, why don't we just release it all now? Come on,
Yeah.
let's just drop it all now.
Yeah. Why not? Why not? But what I guess what's the future then for you guys? What is I guess the end goal from these singles which you've been dropping? Because I think they've all been lit, and I think people have been reacting to them very well and been giving a lot of positive feedback on them. So what is going to be like taken to the next level from these whole tracks you've been releasing over the past several months?
Yeah, I think end goal wise for this record, I think like Cal said, it's just kind of giving people that first look into kind of what Say It Again is and where we're at currently. But I think, yeah, I mean, look, we'd love to get back out on the road and start touring as soon as possible, and we're hoping that this record can kind of help with that and lead to that. Um, but yeah, I think Cal and I both agree that it's just kind of to give people a look into kind of what we're about now and not looking too far into the future, but getting people ready for, some of the new stuff after this record that we've got coming as well.
Gotcha.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
basically, what you're doing is you're just teasing us all, aren't you, really?
That's pretty much it. Well,
Always.
when we started, we came up with the name Say It Again and the idea for this project over 2 years ago now. Um, and it kind of started when our old band came to an end and we had this idea in place, and we've kind of had these 2 years to figure out what it is and discover what it is and really kind of nail all of that down. So to us, it all makes complete sense. We know what the next 2 years of music look like. We know what the whole plan is, and then you kind of realize, oh, for everyone else, it's brand new. So very much like yeah, kind of showing the spectrum of the kind of music that people can expect under this umbrella, and really showing, yeah, like work that we put. It's 2 years of work into however many songs. So it's
Yeah. I mean,
Well,
and
that shows you decoration and and a lot of work behind it. So you done a lot of you done a lot, and it's showing off now, which is great to see, and I hope that continues upwards for you all.
thanks, man. Yeah,
thanks, man.
it was good. We took in those 2 years, we were doing a lot of writing and production for other artists, and that was pretty much what we spent most of our time doing. Um, and that was really fun just to kind of get to experience a bit of everything. And we couldn't really then get in our heads about like, oh, what kind of music are we going to make, or
Yeah.
can we have to stay in this one lane, or can we venture out a bit? And we got to do a lot of that experimentation in this year of just writing songs every day, whether they were for us or for other people. And then when we came together to kind of pick the songs that were going to be for Say It Again and what ones we wanted to release, it was like, oh, okay, it works. Like, this is kind of how far we can stretch the sound each way, and this is what we think the sound is. And we kind of got to do all of that experimentation behind closed doors. And once you start releasing, you know what it's like. Like, we're never going to get that time again where we can spend 2 years dialing something in. Like, it's all go from now. So it was time well spent, I think.
Yeah, and also going back to what you were saying before about kind of like, some artists taking days, weeks to write songs. Like we used to be that band. We used to be that band that would write a demo, sit on it for a week, realize we hate it for absolutely no reason, and then just start rewriting sections, and then realize we actually preferred the first version, and then
Yeah.
just revisiting it a million times. And I think it was like working with so many kind of really, really cool up and coming like pop artists and pop
Mm.
writers and such. Um, it kind of, I don't know, it kind of just taught us to kind of let the song breathe and like do the work itself, if you know what I mean. Instead of just getting so in our heads about it. And I think with that, we just kind of found a little bit more confidence of just being like, you know what, this is great. It's like, I'm trying to think of an example, but it's like Cal will probably know, like producers, for example. There's that whole story of like, you could sit there mixing a song for like 2 years if you really wanted to, trying to get it perfect, but realistically, it's never going to be perfect. Um, and I think that's just kind of a similar approach we've taken with the writing side of things as well as our production side of things, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I think it's that thing. Who was it who said it? Was it Ed Sheeran had a quote about it, about like if you went into an old house and you turned on a tap that hadn't been turned on in 2 years, 3 years, whatever, there's going to be all this like dirty water comes out and all
Yeah.
stuff that you're not going to want to drink, and you've got to kind of cycle through it. And I think he approaches songwriting like that, where he'll finish every idea, because even if it's not good, eventually it's going to lead to the good one. But if you just leave it unfinished and I think that was that kind of approach. It was like, we've got a day, let's just write a song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if
Yeah.
it's good or not, because we'll do another one tomorrow, and that might be a better one. And
Yeah.
that kind of approach of, okay, we can pick 7 or 8 songs out of 15 or 20, rather than we're only going to write 7 songs and they need to be the 7 songs.
And when you take that pressure off as well of just being like, cool, we've got, 3 days, we need to write and finish 4 songs. That if you take that pressure off, and like Cal was said, you just kind of like start building up a pool of songs, whether they're great or whether they're, not so great. The pressure kind of drops when you're in those sessions because I don't know, you're just not really in the headspace of like, okay, we have to do this by this time within this timeline and deliver it by this day. It's just kind of like, let's just write a song, see what happens. And nine times
Yeah.
out of 10, when you're in that headspace of let's just see what happens, it
Yeah.
turns out being usually the best it can be. So yeah, I think just going back to the original point that we're making, it's just like I think that kind of year we had working with other artists taught us a lot and kind of helped kind of reshape how we approach kind of all aspects, I guess, writing and product, like everything that we do with Say It Again.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when you were writing all these great songs over the course of many, past 2 years, and when you decided to start releasing them, were you a bit worried about what the reception might have been at first? Could you got all your songs, all laid out, months ahead of time, and when it came to starting to release them to the public, were you a bit hesitant at first, thinking what the reaction might have been, or were you just like, yeah, who cares because the next one might be better than the previous one?
So from my side, I was petrified. I was petrified, but only because we hadn't released anything like
Exactly.
fed, and even just me and Matt together from like our old, and we hadn't released any music in the world that was like ours under our name, not something we did with someone else for like 3 4 years. So I was pretty scared, but more in a sense of like, the people who used to like us still gonna like us, or is anyone gonna care anymore? Um, but then I think once the first one was out, it helped a lot. And now I'm much more like, look, we've got all these songs ready, and it's each song's going to have its own life and it's going to do its own thing. And once it's out, I can kind of let go and be like, it's not ours anymore. It's not ours to worry about. Like you know, you can let everyone else take it on. And if people like it, that's great. If they don't like it, hopefully they'll like another one that we do. Or they might just not like us, and that's absolutely fine. Like,
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard not to like you guys, though.
oh, thank you, man.
Appreciate it, bro.
You seem very down to earth people from those songs and the way you come across in those clips which you post on social media. And I think when people hopefully see this and hopefully will think that actually, yeah, you guys are quite down to earth and kind of a laugh and a joke as well, bit of banter.
I think that's something we learned probably from the previous band. I think because we were young when we first started and we just kind of I don't think we took ourselves too seriously, but I just think we took everything too seriously.
Mm.
I think now, kind of like, I mean, I'm nearly 30, Cal's mid 20s, like, we just want to enjoy it. We're just having a good time. And like, again, it kind of goes back to that thing of just taking that pressure off and everything just coming naturally. And I think just through, yeah, channeling that energy into just enjoying it,
Mm.
it just led to way better results.
Yeah.
And
I
yeah,
think, yeah, and even then down to how we'll portray ourselves on socials. Like with the old band, I think it was a lot more like this is like the band image and the brand image, and then this is us as individual people, and they're very separate. Like this is, whereas now it's like our live reaction to Joe Hendry appearing at WrestleMania, and we upload it on the band account.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you have on TikTok. I mean, yeah, but on the TikTok account, I guess.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
but
exactly. But and I don't think we would have done that 3 or 4 years ago as the old band. I think would have been too precious about it
yeah,
on the band account and that. Whereas now it's much more like that's who we are, and that's I think we've lent into it a lot more and just realized like it's not that serious.
no.
Like it doesn't have to be that serious.
Well, let's talk about WrestleMania because you guys were actually at the show at WrestleMania for the
Well,
best night. I think night two, I think was a better night. But were you there for the whole WrestleMania or just for night two only, where you got
yeah, we
to
were
get
there
in?
for yeah, we had the weekend. We did well, we arrived on the Thursday. Arrived in Vegas on the Thursday. We did SmackDown on the Friday. We
Oh
did
yeah.
Stand and Deliver Saturday morning, and then obviously both nights of Mania, and then made a last minute on a whim decision to go to Raw on the Monday night as
Oh
well,
yeah, good choice.
and
yeah.
left on Tuesday. So
So
we
we
got
did
like
every
we got
show we could have
we got
done.
the full WrestleMania weekend. Which, like, it was
Yeah.
so good, so good.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Las Vegas comes out and shows up, and obviously the whole world comes out to Las Vegas as well for the night. And what a great event it was on WrestleMania. But I mean, night two was better than night one, I think. You had, of
Yeah.
course, the Paul Heyman turning with Seth Rollins on night one. I mean, that was probably the most talking point of that show. But then, of course, night two, you had, of course, as you mentioned a moment ago, Hendry showing up from TNA with the Raw belt. You also had Steve Austin come out and ram his whatever he calls it, quad bag, whatever it is, into a person at ringside.
Funniest part of that, the funniest part of Stone Cold coming out was that we were sat in the perfect position where we could see him trying to come out initially, where either side of the ramp, you had
Yeah,
the ramp, let's say you're the ring, right? You got the
yeah,
ramp going down to you, and then either side at the top of the ramp, you had two little ramps going like that for when, for example, when Cody had the bikers going over the thing and when LA Knight came up in his car.
yeah.
Stone Cold had the simplest of tasks to really slowly drive out his quad bike and then just go up that ramp and then go down the ramp. He missed those first ramps. So he was just stuck in the corner for like 10 seconds. And everyone was just like, where is he? And me and Cal were looking at him in this corner, stuck in the corner with like 10 dudes, all
Yeah.
using their like full body weight to try and drag him out this corner.
Like music had hit and he's just stuck.
Well, I think they posted a video of him rehearsing it. I think either before the event or after the event, they released video of him rehearsing the whole thing, and he was having issues then as well. So I thought they might have scrapped the whole plan, but no, they just let him loose and let him come out. But I think they regret it after he hit the person in the front row with
I
us.
think so. I bet their defense lawyers are having a right time at the minute.
Yeah, yeah.
So the podcast is great, but it's like, bless his heart. It's when people are just like, one more match. And I'm just like, he doesn't need one more match, guys.
Oh, he did have one 3 years ago against
Yeah,
Kevin Owens.
that was a good match. But yeah, I mean, a lot can change in 3 years.
True. Yeah. Well, he's doing a lot of desert driving nowadays, though, isn't he?
Yeah.
So, he's enjoying himself in Reno, not
Yeah.
too far from Las Vegas. But then, of course, you had, of course, John Cena against Cody Rhodes, where we all knew John Cena was going to win. If you
Mhm.
didn't, then you are not, a true wrestling fan. But were you happy with that result?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was happy with the result, not too happy with the execution.
Yeah.
Okay, well, tell me more.
It was the whole Travis Scott thing. It was the ridiculously slow walk down, and then and I don't think it needed Travis Scott. I think if it needed anything, it would have been Travis Scott and then The Rock and answering that whole why was this whole soul selling thing there in the first place. Um, but I think you needed both of them or neither of them.
Okay.
I think you could have just done it as
Cena doing what he said he was going to do, beating Cody, cheating to win still to make the point. But yeah, I wasn't massive on the Travis Scott thing.
Just like it's also taking into account like the long-term side of it, from like Cody versus Roman 1 to Cody versus Roman 2, and just like this whole like incredibly important for WWE storyline building. This was, especially with Cena coming back and this being Cena's last WrestleMania, being the 17th world title, like how massive this is, the way they executed it. Everyone in the stadium was just looking at each other like, what? And like you saw the Paul Levesque credits start rolling, and everyone was like, nah, surely not. That's a joke. No, 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 no. And
Yeah.
then that was the end of the show, and we were all just like, what? We just
That was it.
felt like there was potential for it to be so much. I know it's difficult, like nothing's ever going to compete with Night 2 of XL last year, but like it just had so much potential to be executed really well, like Cal said, and also be so much bigger than it was. And I just didn't think Travis Scott was the guy to do that. And obviously now we realize, I'm not saying we were right, but like he wasn't.
Well, it wasn't, because I guess the person who should have been out, The Rock, obviously was not going to be at the show because he was stuck in doing a movie elsewhere. But he did reveal on the Pat McAfee show that the whole Soul thing was that they needed to sell tickets for Elimination Chamber. So he came up with the whole idea to be a one-off thing. Wasn't going to lead to anything, and as we found out, WrestleMania, that like what happened?
I know.
No.
It's one thing him like saying on the Pat McAfee show, someone who is very heavily involved in WWE as well. It's one thing him saying like, "Oh yeah, we did this whole thing just on a complete whim."
Yeah.
It's another thing him then not allowing WWE to take what he's done on a whim and actually create a long storyline out of
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
I don't know. I know he's a busy guy, but like, come on, like you're one of the directors of the board, TKO. Sacrifices need to be made somewhere, bro.
Yeah.
That was just
Yeah.
frustrating as well, because it's like if you needed to push tickets for Elimination Chamber and you make an appearance and that's going to do that, fine. But the Cena heel turn doesn't need to then revolve around you, because they made the turn. They made The Rock so central in the turn. So then John Cena's first promo as a heel, everyone was like, all right, but why have you sold your soul to The Rock? And he's done this whole storyline about how like mad he is at the fans, and now he's given everything for 25 years and now he's going to be selfish. It's like, that wasn't believable for the first like 3 or 4 weeks. Everyone was like, but what about the soul thing?
Yeah.
And then
There's been no mention.
promo too.
Yeah.
Said you sold your soul to The Rock, and then there was no payoff for
Yeah.
it. It's like,
Yeah. Yeah.
Honestly,
No mention of it either, of The Rock, in any of these comments by John Cena on any episode since then either, has there?
no.
honestly, I think The Rock is so. I will happily take the hit for say it again. I don't like The Rock. I speak on behalf of myself, not Callum, and not everyone on this live stream. I think he is a knob, and I think like. Anyway, sorry, don't get me started. I was going to make a point, but I won't bother because I'll go for ages.
The pep.
Well, we've reached the mark where we've got a swear word in, so there's now definitely an explicit episode on the audio platform. So you
Sorry,
made my
man.
life a lot easier
Very much.
when I release it on the audio platforms in the coming days. But I guess as well, because of the fact that, WrestleMania was a huge success, and then of course the Raw after Mania was also a success, where you got to see Pat McAfee get choked down, you get to see Rusev return as well,
Yeah.
rightly so, with the return, hopefully maybe have Rusev Day once again. But will we ever see, maybe in the future, you guys doing something with WWE?
That's the dream.
Yeah.
The dream. We were talking about this a couple of weeks ago, because there was a point, I can't remember when this was, but I'm pretty sure there was overlap, where when we were our old band Shaded, there was a point where I think it might have just been NXT UK, but they were doing like guest themes every week.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, oh, I'm so annoyed we missed that, And I was like, if they ever did something like that again, just give us like some branch off just the theme for 1 week, and our lives would be complete.
Look, if if guitar music blows up again the way that it has done in the past, maybe we could be the UK's answer to Travis Scott. Who knows? When WrestleMania comes to Wembley in London, which it probably will never.
Well, don't know. Never say never.
That'd
I don't
be
know, man. I was talking to Callum about this when we were in Vegas. I just don't think the event itself would be able to take over the city of London the way it has done Vegas and places in the past. I feel like London is just too strict and just too busy and just too kind of yeah. I can't imagine it.
the atmosphere of it in America is just insane. Like everything, like the second you get there, there's like tailgates going on and all these mad events outside the stadium. Like it's everywhere. And yeah, I'm not sure if London.
Also, can you imagine? Can you imagine WWE coming to London and going to Wembley and being like, "This is where we're going to take over."
Yeah, well, it
Stadium,
could.
the stadium aside, just bless its heart, Northwest London, Wembley. Look, it's not the best. It's not quite the London city centre that it's potentially being sold to be.
Well, what? Maybe it might not go to London at all. Maybe it'll come up to Manchester.
Who knows? Who knows?
The rebuild of Old Trafford.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's
Yeah.
pretty solid.
There you go.
WrestleMania.
100,000 people can easily fill out that for WrestleMania or any big event for WWE. Might appear about 30 minutes from where I am.
See, that would be good. The other option is, and I hate to say it as an Arsenal fan, but the Spurs Stadium.
Of course. Yeah, the Emirates. Yeah. Yeah. Not a bad
The-
ground, I guess. But yeah, good.
New option.
Good. Or even the Tottenham Stadium because they host a lot of American football games there. So that's another option.
I think they're probably best equipped for it, to be honest, as much as it pains me.
Yeah.
They've even got those like bottom up beer things.
They do. Yeah.
Well, look, Paul Hunter, if you're listening, Pride Park is a really nice stadium. It's in a lovely town, a lovely city called Derby. Really pleasant city centre, loads of sights to see. You know where we are.
WrestleMania Derby.
I'll send you the.
Yeah, he might have to Google. He might have to Google where Derby is, probably.
That's fine. I'll send him the location ping once a day over Instagram until he responds.
But of course, you got to wear a Derby shirt to put on my show, because you knew you could come on a Manchester show. Of course, the home to the best football team in the world, still, by the way, Manchester United. We might be big at the moment, but history stands behind us. But yeah, you've done very brave there. At least Callum has worn something a bit more realistic for the show. Yeah, Triple H. Yeah.
I would love to say this is me doing my podcast heel turn on you, but I've got football after this, so
Fair enough. Fair
He
enough.
also wore Derby shirts to both nights of WrestleMania.
He did, and now I saw that. Yeah, yeah. Did you get a lot of people coming after you about how dare you for wearing it?
I got one guy that said Derby County, and I was like, my boy. And then there was one person on night two. There was one person. So the first person said Derby County with like a nice, happy cadence in their voice, and then on night two it was Derby County, and I was just like,
Yeah,
what?
what on earth is that?
What is a Derby County?
I wore an Arsenal shirt on night one, and I got a lot of. But they were all nice. I didn't get anyone.
Well, I remember watching the SmackDown on the first night of WrestleMania where I saw the Aston Villa / Birmingham guy.
Yeah, they're always there, aren't they?
Yeah, it's annoying. They
They're
just
always
came out of
there.
nowhere nowadays. It's like where's the Uniteds and where's the I
Yeah.
guess Liverpool's as I would say, but it's like teams this is not even that popular, right? They're not being that popular in America anyway. But there you go. But yeah,
Those two guys and Smiles, green shirt guy, they're at every single PLE. It's so funny.
The biggest night two was Smiles getting his own entrance.
But I mean, so how long have you guys been, I guess, actually watching wrestling? Has it been something you've been watching your whole life, or is it something you're going to recently? What made you guys to start following it?
Mine's a shorter one, so I'll go first. I got into wrestling when I was like 6.
Not bad age.
And I've been pretty much watching it ever since. There was a brief 2-year period during the Vince era, later on in the Vince
You're
era,
fired.
where I just kind of turned off, and I think I was 18, 19. But I only stayed away from it for a couple of years and came back to it. But yeah, pretty much my whole life basically.
Mine is a bit more of a rocky road. I was into it when I was younger, like when I was a teenager, and then I stopped for a few years. Then when I went to uni and met Matt, we lived together and we started just watching Peerleys. Um, and that kind of got me back into it. But again, then that was in the pretty dodgy Vince time.
Dodgy.
Crap.
Well, I think compared to now, I think the Vincer still tops it.
But yeah, I kind of got through, stopped a bit then, and then but how long ago, Matt? About a year and a half, 2 years ago.
Yeah, yeah, I
Kind
think
of
so.
got
Yeah.
into it. It was just one of those things. I had like Matt would still talk about it, and then like another one of my mates started talking about it, and I was like, maybe I should check it out again. And I just started watching like the Raw and SmackDown highlights on
Oh yeah.
YouTube every like Tuesday and Saturday once it'd be out. Um, and then just kind of got hooked again. I'd say about 2 or 3 months before Mania last year, and then we were at one of our best friends' weddings, and Mania night one was that night, so we attempted to stay up and watch it. Both fell asleep.
Either A, it's because it was quite, I guess, very boring to you at the time, or because you had a long day.
It was because we had a long day.
Yeah, good cover up there.
We were hammered and
Yeah.
just passed out. We tried our best to stay up,
Yeah,
but just
fair
didn't.
enough. But at least you did it this year, though. At least you've gone over there and enjoyed both nights and got to see a lot of people in person as well.
Yeah, totally. Proper bucket list. Yeah, bucket list thing.
Yeah, yeah. Again, your fire was not as good as it is on this show. I need to do a bit more practice there because I can do it pretty well, I want to say, but not tonight, I guess. But I'll attempt it one more time at some point before we will
Yeah.
end this. But
That's
moving
just
on,
your
is
sign off. That's your sign off before you end the live. Just say your
yeah, yeah. Well, I can't really say anymore because, of course, he's not around, is he? You know, he's making more appearances now, like basketball and other things. So we'll see what he does next, but it's not the end of him. So
Did you see that the leaked shareholder document? Was
yeah,
it leaked or did they release it? But he's still like the
highest,
third highest
yeah,
holder. I don't know what you could be. He has the
yeah,
third, yeah,
yeah,
third
yeah.
highest
So,
amount of
so
shares.
there you go. He's still got influence on WWE. So
He's in there.
you know, like it or not, but he's there. Have you guys got any regrets so far in your careers as musicians yet, or are you enjoying the ride?
Um, there's probably things we would have done differently, but there's nothing we look back at and think, "Oh my God, I regret that so much." Like, there's, I mean, in the previous band, there were decisions that we made in, heat of the moment kind of
Yeah,
stuff that, in hindsight, changed the trajectory of the project. But it's not stuff we regret. It's, we were young and we were figuring stuff out, and now we're in a position where we're starting this new project and we've taken those lessons and are hopefully going to use that knowledge to do things differently this time. But I mean, personally, no. I mean, no, I don't. I try not to. I try not to. Not to sort of talk down the question, but I try not to do that. I try not to look back at stuff and think, I wish I'd done that differently because it. What can you do? It's in the past. It's in.
yeah, yeah. No,
I've
I
got
get that.
one that's not really it's not about a situation, but mine was definitely like I regret not enjoying it more when we were in the old band or when we were and especially when we were touring. I think we were so focused. And again, like it goes back to just being really serious about everything. But we'd be on a tour and it'd be like our first time playing in Europe and we'd have an offer through for like the next tour and we'd just be focused on how we could make that one work or
Yeah,
how that one was going to be bigger and better and how like and I'd just be so tunnel vision on the next thing every time that then I look back and go, I really didn't make the most of the fact that like that was our first ever time tour in Europe and I definitely should have just sort of lived in the moment a bit more and spent more time like kind of being present with it.
yeah. No, I get you.
But I think again that's something just from being younger.
Yeah. I
And you
think
look at it now and it's like everything's we sort of take everything just as it comes and don't try not to stress about anything music related because it's like
Yeah.
it's just fun, you know.
Not to turn that into like a therapy session question, but like it's kind of we've always been very, very DIY with everything that we do. And that means, I mean, through that, it means that we've always been super hands-on with like our management and our agents and stuff. And we've liked to kind of, in the least controlling way possible, we've liked to kind of oversee and kind of do everything ourselves. And so I think what Callum was saying is just kind of part and parcel with that. And I think what we've learned with this project is just kind of giving up some of that, delegating and giving up that responsibility and just letting people do their thing and us just focus on the things that we're doing at that moment in time. And the thing that's most important on our side, which is the songs that we're writing and the live performances that we're giving. So
Yeah, absolutely.
we
Absolutely.
live and we learn.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Now, here's something we did not discuss previously before we started this live, and 'cause this is again off the cuff conversation, unscripted. I don't script this show, I don't prepare the show. I just come here, have a good old
What's your name, The
conversation.
Rock?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. But talk to me about your tattoos because I have noticed them here on this show tonight, also on your social media, obviously.
Yeah.
And I want to know what they mean to you. That's all I want to know. And I'm sure your fans may want to know the same thing.
God.
I'm gonna start because mine's
Go
short
ahead.
because I've hardly got any. So all I've got my forearm. There's like an hourglass and a rose, and now I've got some more flowers there and a globe thing. But it's like a sunrise and mountains in the globe. That one means absolutely nothing. I saw it and I thought it was cool. I was like, I'm gonna get something like that. The roses don't really mean anything. I mean, this one I got when I was 18. It was like
Okay.
back like a week after I turned 18, and I just had it in my head that that's what I wanted. I think I tried to pull some kind of meaning because my granddad really didn't want me to get tattoos. And my way of winning him over was my nan, who had passed away by that point, used to have rose bushes. So I said the rose was for Nan. It wasn't, it was part of the design. Sorry, Nan. But I made up something. And then the only other one is a matching tattoo that me and Matt have on our arm, which does have a meaning, but I'm not going to say it because that's a tease.
Yes, we like teasers on the show.
I'll keep it. I'll try and keep it as quick as possible. I probably can't really show you all of them because it's kind of all over my body.
Yeah, they are good.
I've got Jason from Friday 13th on my leg because I've always loved horror films. I've got a rose on my knee because I've got a moth on my leg also because I've got first one I got actually was a treble clef and a heartbeat monitor. Self-explanatory, kind of lame, I know. I still do love a band called All Time Low, so I got the wrong way round, but kind of my way round. I got Hopeless Dreamer, which is lyrics from one of their songs. I've got this wristband thing,
Yeah.
kind of it looked cool and it just felt right.
Fun fact, you got that the day we moved in together in Guildford.
I did. That's true. That is true. I've got a heart on my sleeve because I'm quite an emotional guy. I've got Sauron from Lord of the Rings because Callum
Why not?
will tell you the story at probably a later date. Obsessed. I've got a lightning bolt because one of my favorite songs is Thunder by Boys Like Girls. I've got a 6 here with a lantern for Bray Wyatt and the Wyatt 6 coming back. I've got 1996, the year I was born. I've got a disco ball because, yep. I've got a rose because I'm trying to rush through it. I've got a rose for Laney's first album, which is one of my favorite albums ever. I've got Shards and Narsil there from Lord of the Rings. I've got a cowboy hat because we love country music over here. Um, um, I've got my
Love
shark sign there. I've got a shark in there because I love sharks. I've got my parents' initials there in 2 arrows. I've got a little moon there, which is also for Lainey. I've got our matching tattoo, and then I've got a couple of tattoos for my girlfriend. I've got a little date there, and I've got an M there. But
Well, speaking about girlfriends,
me.
Do you remember back in the day when the Undertaker used to have his girlfriend's his
Sarah.
partners on his neck and then he got removed years
Yeah.
later?
Mm-hmm.
Are you guys a bit careful not falling into that trap in case it
Matt
happens
clearly
the same to you?
I've already done it, mate.
But hopefully it won't happen. Hopefully it won't never happen. But in case it does happen, I guess you'll have to have it get removed, won't you? Or
Ah,
have
mate,
something.
look, I've not done it before. I'm nearly 30 now. It's just a when you know situation, isn't
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, we wish you all the best for many, many, many years to come, and I hope it won't happen
it?
like the Undertaker happened, if that makes sense.
Fingers crossed.
But but I mean that's great. Off the cuff conversation, we love it. I'm like the Rock 2.0 here, goes all Manchester, but it's
Yeah,
great, and we can't wait to see you guys in Manchester at some point in the near future.
go on,
Good luck with Derby as well, with the football club. Hopefully, you guys do something soon because the Americans obviously do not really know who you are, so we need to get them up to scratch. But yeah, we can't wait. And before we let you go, by the way, I want to know, out of curiosity, you can be as honest as you like now. So it's the bit I like. So when I was interested in having you guys on the show tonight, I guess did you find out? How soon did you find out after I reached out, or did you even Google this show myself to figure out is actually legit, or
yeah,
who's
yeah,
this
no,
bloke?
like as soon as our management hit us up, I think it was pretty much the same day that you I think it was that you spoke to them about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we looked it up and it was like, dude, it was like a no-brainer. It's like we get to talk about our music, and also there's obviously going to be like 90% of the chat is going to be wrestling. So we're like,
Well, hopefully I delivered.
100%.
yeah,
Because
man. No, it's been a
yeah,
pleasure. Thank you so much for having us on.
no,
Been
no,
really
you're very
Two biggest
welcome.
loves.
Yeah, I hope you will come back on again soon and talk about whatever else you want to discuss about your music and any other wrestling events you decide to attend and maybe even get involved in because I can see you guys, smashing some people in the face, if they talk bad about Derby or Arsenal. So you never know. Is that something in the plans?
But I'd love to. We'd both
Because
love to. It's
because
just one of those. We'd have to get up to scratch. We know
yeah,
we toured with back in the day. We toured with a band called Junior, and Mark Andrews is in Junior. Obviously, was in NXT UK.
yeah,
So we'll hit up Mark for some training.
yeah, you
Get
should,
ring
yeah.
ready.
Yeah,
I
why
think
not? Because you got those comedians, what's his name? Phil Wong, I think his name is, or Phil Wang, how you pronounce it. He's wrestling in, I think, October at some indie show here in London. So maybe you should go along to that. Maybe get some
yeah.
practicing with him.
I
Yeah.
mean, I think the first step for both Callum and I is to probably take a bump first. I think both of us would probably struggle.
Well, I don't know. Maybe reach
Take
out to
one bump.
Phil Wang. I'm sure he could teach you.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. We'll be fine. We'll take one bump and then be like, oh, that really hurts. We're
Well,
just
that's the whole point. It's the
Yeah.
whole point you guys don't come back, but you guys will come back.
Yeah,
That's
we'll
what they
see.
say.
We'd love to, mate, but we'll see. We'll see.
Well, never say never, I
I
guess.
see
No,
you hitting a pretty mean frog splash, Matt.
Callum, look, you go for the back of the knees, I'll go for the clothesline. Look, simple,
Perfect.
done, finisher.
Yeah.
There we
And
go.
you'd be a tag team. You could be the new Pretty Deadly.
Oh, yes. Yes, boys.
Yeah. Yeah. Just don't wear the awful outfits they wear, though, because I think they are just destroying the English culture by wearing those absolutely curtain wearing costumes they put on every week. I mean, what
Yeah.
on earth they're thinking?
I couldn't pull off anything that tight, so I'm all
No.
right.
Maybe we
Uh,
just like really go for it and we do like get in Paul's good books and just do Hunter Hearst Helmsley 2.0 and just wear like really medieval, like we'll both
yeah,
come
you
out with
could.
canes and just one arm behind the back like Ludwig Kaiser and just really on brand for us actually.
Yeah, yeah. Never say never. Never say never. But no, it's been an absolute pleasure having you both on the show. Apologies, this has gone over 10 minutes because you wanted to go at quarter to. So
Oh, good,
apologies.
man.
I hope you were
Oh,
ready
no,
for your
no, not at
football.
all. Not at all.
But
No,
uh, but
good.
no, it's been a wonderful time with you both. I will be sharing some clips of this conversation on social media, so I will tag say it again on social media. I've also as well tagged the band YouTube channel in the description of this video, so you may have got a notification saying that
Amazing.
I've tagged you in your band. So you're welcome for that. So all my listeners and viewers can check you out on your platform and check out your music and hopefully as well check you out. But one last thing I want to say to you, and I'll give you the floor now, is there anything else you want to mention which I'm not mentioning, which you think is very important to get off your chest about anything you like?
We'll do this in two parts. We'll go
Yeah.
one each. One, stream wide open, available everywhere now. And two, John Cena sucks.
That's exactly what I was going to say. So, yeah.
Really, really. Okay. Well, thank you for that. And I got to say you're both fired. There we go.
Yes.
There we go. How was that? Was that a good impression?
That
That
was
was
mate,
good.
that was fantastic. That
That was
exceeded
Yeah.
good.
every expectation.
Yeah, because I do a very good one. So people should hire me to do the You're Fired because if you want a Vince, I can do a Vince.
Maybe you can be Vince's spokesperson while he's on the sidelines.
Yeah, yeah. Just hire me. If you also want to be fired on screen, hire me and I can do it for you. But on that note, I got to say thank you again for you both for your time this evening, and I hope you enjoy the lovely weather we have here in the UK over the next couple of days. And I wish you all the best with the new single. I hope many people will love it. I'm sure they will already. And I hope as well that whatever you guys do in 2025 will be lit and will be fantastic as always. And I think you guys just keep on being you, and I believe that you will be growing your fan base to the highest levels you could possibly can over the next year. And I'm sure when we speak again, I'm sure you have millions and millions of fans around the world.
Millions.
With the people's eyebrow for sure for that. So, but yeah, if you enjoyed the episode, make sure to smash the like button, share the video around, tell about Matt, Callum, and Say It Again as well. And it's a cool name, it's catchy, and it's definitely it's eye attention. And you guys are doing fantastic. Leave a comment in the comment section below for any future questions you may have for either of these guys, if they're willing to come back on the show after I just fired them for saying that John Cena sucks. And if you want to see more of my great conversations with likes of Jake Hager coming on the show, with Sean Hernandez from TNA back in the day, and many other fantastic guests from over the years, and smash that subscribe button. We've got over 304 subscribers, while my friends here this evening have got over 854 subscribers on YouTube. Help them to get to 1,000 subscribers today. I'm sure they'll get there in no time for sure. So yeah, but until next episode, whatever it may be, enjoy the rest of your afternoon or evening.